Hi, I'm Lisa, and I am owner and creator of Gypsy Woman Charm, and I thank you for joining me today for my very first video. Let's start out with Project 1. We're starting out with a frame that I have gotten from CNC DIY Factory. They make many items like this, and the frames that comes in several different sizes, and I love it because the back detaches from the front, so you can decoupage or decorate it however you want and not have to worry about working around the outer frame. We will be decoupaging a rice paper by Connie's Lines and Designs, and this is called Wren, this particular one. She does a marvelous job with all of her papers. All the designs she has hand painted and designed herself, and they're all just very unique and original. I did paint the back of the frame with Fusion Mineral Paints Picket Fence, because you want to put a light color in the back. Sorry, I've gotten off the frame a little bit, but you want to paint the back with a light color so that it'll help the design on the decoupage paper really pop. I will be decoupaging it onto the back of the board using Fusion Decoupage and Transfer Gel. Love this product. You just put it liberally on it. I love it because it doesn't seem to cause that many bubbling or anything on the decoupage paper itself. A lot of times when you decoupage, you will get some bubbles, some air bubbles and some things like that, but this is so easy to use. And then once I have it securely on, then I'll just go back over the top with the decoupage gel, and that way as it's drying, this part is drying, I can concentrate on what we're going to do with the frame. Everything I've used today, almost everything, I have on my Etsy store, and I will put that link in at the end of the video. So now I'm using Fusion Paint Heirloom to paint the frame. I love this color, love it. So I painted the whole frame with that color. Next, I am going to be decorating the frame using the IOD Mold Blossom and the IOD Air Dry Clay. Now, if you haven't heard, the IOD molds have a patented micro rim, which makes it so much easier for molding clay. And the IOD clay I just love because it is very easy to work with and it's an easy cleanup. I just think it's wonderful. Now, once I get these molded and on the frame, I will be painting them, because if you paint them before they're dry, it will help with any cracking in the clay. Now here are some that I molded. I am putting them on the frame, and that's another thing about using the clay. You can cut it and arrange it in different ways the way you want it. You don't have to keep it the way it comes out of the mold. You can arrange it the way you want to. And with projects like this, with a frame, that's an awesome ability to be able just to arrange it and cut it and fix it the way that you want to. So I am just fixing it there. Now right now I'm just arranging it the way I want it on the frame. And then once I have everything arranged, I'm going back. I usually use triple thick glue, but I was out, so this time I used wood glue, and it worked wonderful. So I will just go back, and you want to put just a thin layer on the back of your molded clay, and you want to spread it around. I just use my finger, and I spread it around with my finger, but you don't want to use too much because you don't want it to ooze out the sides. If it does, you need to go back through. I usually, if that happens, I go back through with a small brush and just do a cleanup on it. Now here I am coming back. Once I've got everything glued down, I'm coming back with just a little knife and trimming up the edges so there's no overlap, because I want to be able to sit the frame up and let it stand up. If I don't want it to hang, then I can just sit it up on a shelf. It's turned out so pretty. It'd be pretty if you just left it white painted it, go over it with white, but I wanted to add some color to it. So I'm using fusion paint and mineral paint in chocolate, park bench, and Curiously Pink. And then I use for the center of the flowers, I'm using the fusion metallic and pale gold. Now here is the finished product after everything is painted and dried. So now I want to tone down a little everything, make it a little softer. So I'm using white wax and I'm going over it really well with a brush. Then I'm coming back with a baby wipe and just wiping it off, because I don't want it like super white, but I do want it very, very soft. So here I am just clearing a lot of the wax off to just give it that softness. Now Fusion mineral paint has a sealer in it, so I didn't have to worry about sealing it first. If I was using a paint that did not have a sealer, I would need to seal it first and then go back with the white wax so that the white wax would be able to be wiped off easier. Now for project 2, I've taken a little silver, I'm guessing it was a little sugar bowl, but it's missing the top. So I'm taking the little, it's silver plated, it's not real good silver. It's silver plated, and then I'm taking the Picket Fence and the Fusion mineral paint, and I'm putting a coat of paint on it. I end up putting 2 coats on it, and I didn't put any kind of sealer on it or bonding agent on it before I put the paint on, because I want to rub a little bit of it off after, just to distress it a tad. So to do that, you have to, with the Fusion paint, when it's on something slick, you can do it, but you have to do it really fast. You can't let it sit there for a while and start curing, because if you do, it's going to get really hard, and you won't be able to rub it off and distress it with just a baby wipe. So here I am taking the baby wipe, and even with letting it, getting it right after it starts to dry, it's still taking me a little bit of elbow grease to get it off. But I love the way it's coming out, though. You rub the baby wipe over the details, over the silver, and it just gives it brings out those details and just really gives it a neat look. So now we're going to put a little bird's nest in here. I love bird's nest. I will put bird's nest in anything. And I use a little green straw and make a little nest with it after I hold it down with some hot glue. So I'm just arranging it here. And this is my little tool so I don't burn my hands, because I have burnt my fingers numerous times and it's not fun. Then I'm using some moss. Well, I'm trimming it first. It's just so it doesn't have any stragglies and has some kind of structure to it. And then I'm going to make it more nest-like by using this moss, and I will arrange it, put it down in there, so that way we're going to put a little egg in there, so that way it has something soft for the little egg. And there I am. I'm just twisting it to try to make an edge for that nest, so it looks more like a nest. And then I'm going to, after I do that, you can see those little twigs there. I just went outside and I got some little twigs off of a tree. I have numerous trees out here. I'm putting some more, and I'm just going to put some of those twigs in there too, just so it looks like a bird has come along and taken some items off the ground and made a little nest with them. So here I am trying to decide what length and how to put it in there. Yeah, I needed it a little bit shorter to make it size appropriate. So there we are, just sticking a little around the edges just to make it look like bring the outdoors in this little nest. Now I would be putting in a little speckled egg, plastic egg in there, and it's going to look adorable, but I just thought it needed something more after I do that. So in the next frame you'll see that I'm taking the IOD apothecary labels, and I used the IOD ink in Ocean's Deep, and I added just a little bit of the white to it, and then I spelled spring and put it on a little strip of muslin. Then I hot glued it to the side or to the front of the little silver pot. And I thought it just gave it a little something. It was just, I just thought it was super cute. Now we're on to project 3. So I had this wood little tote, and I'm going to be putting a base coat of the Fusion Mineral Paint and Lichen. And I'm going to do, at first I was just going to do one coat, but then I decided it needed a second coat, because we're going to go over it with the milk paint, with Fusion milk paint, because I want it to have that chippy, crackly look. So here we are with the Fusion milk paint in the color Toasted Coconut. You're going to mix it 1 part of the milk paint powder with 1 part water, so equal amounts. I did add a little bit more of the milk paint powder only because I wanted it to be kind of clumpy in some areas, a little bit thicker, so to give it a really, because I really wanted it to chip. So here I am putting the first coat. I end up putting 2 coats on, but I'm putting in on the first coat, and it goes on super easy. It's just, I love milk paint. I love the texture of it. I love that you can play with it and do your own thing, because there's really no one way to do anything. That's why we're artists, is because we can try things, and that's how we artists invent different techniques, is by just trying stuff. So I'm painting all of it, and then after I paint it, I'm going to be using a heat gun on it, because I really want that extra chippiness on it. So now it's dry, so now I'm going to take a 220 sandpaper and just hand sand it. Give it that chippiness and distressed look. So here it is after I finish. So before I want to dark wax it to enhance the chippiness and the crackle. So before I do that, I want to seal it, and I am using the Sweet Pickins top coat in matte finish. Next, I want to put a transfer on it, and I'm going to use the IOD Brocante transfer. Love this booklet. I have used so many items out of it. I've decided to use this French wording. Not sure what it says because I don't speak French, but it's very pretty. So I'm going to use it on the front of the wood tote. So I'm just going to cut that bottom part off and just use that part. That's the one great thing about the way the IOD does their transfers on the sheets, is because you can go through and you can cut it little bits of pieces, bigger pieces. You can just cut it up and use it the way you want. You don't have to use it as it's laid out. So here I have it. Put the tote on the side. You can see all the chippiness on it. I love it. So you just take that transfer on the carrier page and put it into place. I want to put it in the center, so I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not measuring this one. I'm just going to eyeball it. And every transfer packet comes with a rubbing stick. So what I do usually is I go over it really well one time over the whole transfer. Then I come back and start at one end and start really working on every little detail. And then you lift up the transfer sheet as you make sure everything is down. And if you pull it up a little bit and it didn't attach, just lay it back down and rub it a little bit more. Now, as the carrier page is coming off, then you just want to burnish it, and that just means you take the carrier paper and just rub it over to make sure that it is adhered really well. I think it turned out so cute. But here I am taking, I'm doing clear wax first before I do the dark wax, because if you do straight dark wax, it will really come out way dark. So I wanted to be able to control the dark wax. So I put on clear wax first and then go right over it with the dark wax. And it really highlights the crackle. I think it's turned out really well. And here are our finished projects. I think they turned out amazing. What do you think? All these items will be available in my Etsy store. I will leave the link, and I will also leave links for the items and products that I used. And thank you so much for joining me for my first video. I appreciate it so much, and I had a lot of fun doing these items. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again.